If you're a DACA recipient and you have to fly, here are 5 scenarios that will help you calculate your level of risk. So, as you know, currently ICE is at the airports. They're picking up 2 different types of people with removal orders and people that are visa overstays. When you buy a plane ticket, and this includes myself, the information that you provide to the airlines is sent to the TSA, and then 3 or 4 times a week, the TSA sends that information to the local ICE field office. ICE will then check that information, your name, your date of birth, your personal information, and compare it to people that have removal orders and people that have I-94s or visas and have not departed, basically that have overstayed a visa. If that's you, you will be a match in their system. So these 5 scenarios help you determine that you would be a match or not. First scenario is if you're a DACA recipient who got a removal order when they were a child. That's actually a very safe position for you to be in, because if you have a removal order when you were a child and now you have DACA protection, then ICE cannot just be at the airport, pick you up and put you in removal proceedings again, because you've already been in removal proceedings. You already have the removal order. They cannot detain you based on pending proceedings because your proceedings have ended. So actually that's a pretty safe spot to be in. The second scenario is if you are a DACA recipient who is currently in removal proceedings and you have already been detained and you were bonded out. The reason you're kind of safe in that scenario too is because the determination as to whether or not you're a flight risk has already been made. The immigration judge has determined that you're not a flight risk, so they allowed you to bond out. So for that reason, if things have not changed since you were bonded out, you should not be redetainable. The third scenario is very risky. This is where you have a removal order and you have lost DACA. Lost it because you filed on time, but they haven't adjudicated it yet, so your DACA lapsed. Or also, if you haven't lost DACA, but you've done something that could result in you losing DACA. If that's the case, then ICE will be there at the airport. You are vulnerable because you no longer have the DACA protection and you have that removal order. You'll be a match in their system and they can easily execute that removal order. The fourth scenario is if you came in under a tourist visa or some kind of a valid entry and you still show up as an I-94 in the cbp.gov system. If you do, then ICE will see that. ICE will see that you have valid entry and you never left your touristic or visa entry. But then they'll also see that you have DACA. And at that point, it'll be discretionary as to whether or not they want to detain you, put you in removal proceedings just to give you a removal order, knowing that you cannot be deported with DACA active. But because you have that old valid entry, you'll show up positive in their system. Again, remember, they're looking for 2 people, removal order people and people with valid entries that show up in the system. Finally, scenario number 5 is if you have DACA and you have no valid entry and no removal order. It's still a bit of a risk. We don't know for sure what the future will hold. They're not currently just matching DACA to their system. Hope that helped. If you want more on this, a full article, go to The Migration on Substack.